Hi, welcome to today's video. We're going to look at a Performance Max review in 2024 and we're going to dive in on this audit and we're going to uncover all the type of areas of concern. Now, it's really important to bear in mind that in my experience of having conducted hundreds of these type of reviews, often if an advertiser, after having taken a review, whether it's with our agency or another agency, don't actually go forward and actually start acting upon some of the issues that are uncovered in an audit, the chances are that 46% of you will not be around next year to advertise. So it's really important that you actually do something with the information we're going to uncover today. I'm John Langley. I run an agency called Click Convert Marketing, and we've driven over 1.5 billion in sales using paid ads over the last few years. If you consider a Performance Max campaign, it's really a campaign type that is based around a goal. And this goal can be driving leads, it can be driving sales, it can be downloading apps, it can be calls. There are several of these type of goals that you have to select on. In truth, most of you are only going to be interested in two goals, and they are going to be leads and purchases. That's what we're going to focus on today. The other issue to bear in mind is that this Performance Max campaign advertises over all of Google's properties, and there are between 5 and 7 of these properties depending on your configurations. But effectively, you are advertising on search, you're advertising on shopping, you're advertising on YouTube, Gmail, display network, and discovery. As we go into the audit, you'll see that often some of these networks such as Gmail, YouTube and display, whilst they cost you money, they don't actually drive any revenue into your business. So the whole thing about getting a Performance Max campaign to work is about being able to control which networks you actually want to advertise on and the ones that work for you. Out of the box, however, Google has configured Performance Max to take that ability away from you. So we'll cover all that and we'll jump in and we'll show you how you can use some techniques in the background to discover actually where you're advertising and which of these networks are actually deriving and delivering into your business real value. So let's jump straight in. So I've chosen these campaigns here and we've just gone to campaigns and we've chosen the campaign filter Performance Max campaigns. What I probably would do is I'd go to all campaigns first and I'd go down and I'd start having a look how they're all performing. Now you'll notice here that we haven't got the most important column that's required when undertaking an audit, and that is go to columns, do modify columns, click on conversions, and the one we really want is this conv value cost. Oh, actually I did have it here, my mistake. Anyway, but make sure you've got conv value cost, the conversions, and your conversion value clicked. And we could just arrange those so we've got conv value cost there. Brilliant. Let's move that one up a little bit. You can see the column here, conv value cost. What conv value cost really is, it's your ROAS type of return on ad spend column. And in truth, I run most of the campaigns here based off of ROAS. So as long as we're getting a ROAS, which is profitable for us, it then just becomes a case of how much money can we spend to get the return on investment. But we can see here, we've got a Performance Max campaign, supposed to have a 700% ROAS on it, is the target. We've got a good conversion rate, and we can see for every dollar spent, we're getting $3.24 back. So that's really good. And we've had 254 conversions. Now we've got another one here. This has got a target set at 500 and it is coming in pretty close to it, but I would be a little bit suspicious about that because this one here is able to get such a dramatically higher one. And if I go down here, we've got this one here, an old shopping campaign is able to get 1 to 6. Another shopping campaign is able to get 1 to 12. So my suspicion would be, in terms of where I was going to look for a problematic Performance Max campaign, would be this one here, because the performance does look a little bit low on it to me. And if I go across well, we can see it's limited by budget, and that can be problematic. So let's jump into this campaign. So we can see here, this particular account operates mainly into the summer and then tails off as we go into the fall autumn period. We can see we've had 5,000 purchases, and we know the conv value is I think it was 4, wasn't it? Okay, we go down here. It's got a good optimization score, but in truth, that isn't really worth the paper it's written on. It's Google's way of trying to get you to spend as much money as possible. So what I would do first of all is I would jump into settings. Okay, so on appearing at the settings screen, the first thing, as we've already mentioned, is it's limited by budget. The problem with Performance Max is it can be really problematic if you start limiting the budget. It needs the free rein to run and return you a great return on investment. So we've got campaign, it's got what do we got our goal as? Have a look. So we've got use specific, okay? So we're using a campaign goal, which is website purchases. I would check this as well, because if you go into many campaigns, what you find out, they may have form submissions, they may have downloads as the goal. But if you're running e-commerce, you need to make sure that the goal is website purchases. We're bidding equally for new and existing customers. Sometimes you might bid a little bit more for new customers, but that's not really a problem here. We've got a product feed coming in. We've got our shop locations in all locations. Now this is problematic, I think. Judging by the other campaigns, they've got a ROAS set a lot higher. So I think what's happened is whoever's been managing this campaign has set a ROAS value that's too low. I would probably try moving that to 750, then to 1,000, and then work your way up so you're educating the AI engine to deliver a better performance on it. But I think that could be one of the things here, the target set too low. I would check the locations. I mean, I would say that whilst it's useful to give you some little bit of a view about where all these type of counties are performing, it could be viewed as being slightly overkill. I would normally only ever really set, personally, England, Wales, Scotland. If in the States, I would probably do the major ones there. I would set New York, I would set Florida, I would set Texas and California, and then put the rest of them in there and work it down from there. I mean, I suppose it's not a bad idea to just go and stick in the 52 states to start with. The important one to remember, though, is location options. What many people do is you can see normally somebody who doesn't know too much about Google Ads is they've actually put in exclusion targets. You don't really need to do that, because what you'll see is they'll have India, China, parts of Europe, parts of South America in there. All you need to do is go, because they've selected presence or interest in. So this means anybody who makes a Google search that's in relationship to your area or country is then going to be shown the ads. What you want to select are people in or regularly in your target location. If you do that, you don't have to bother with all the exclusion lists. We haven't got any brand exclusion lists put in. Unless this is set up as actually the brand campaign, then I would add in your own brand as a negative. Often when you try and type in your own brand name, it won't come up, and you're going to have to just click on the next screen and you can add your own brand in there. But really, you should be adding your own brand as an exclusion, because what you're doing is you're allowing Google to obtain sales for you that you would have got organically, and yet you're paying for them. So that was one I would look out for. Let's now go and have a look at the overview. Now on the overview, we can see that we've had purchases of 5,000, 5K. The problem is we don't really know where they're coming from. As I expressed earlier, there can be problems with Google spending money on networks you don't want to. But in the type of overview screen that's here, it's very difficult to see anything, because outside of geo-targeting and some bits on your ad strength, there's not really much to show. What I would recommend doing is flicking over to listing groups, and I would select all products, move them to the top, so you can just do that by conversion value, and we can see 3,200 have turned up. So basically, what have we got? 3,2, so we got 18, about 1,800. Yeah, but so about 2,000, say about 1,900 is coming in through non-product listing categories. So we've got a conversion value of approximately 3.2k here. We had, I think it was 5.1k. Just go back and check. So we had 5k. So approximately 1.8k is coming from other channels that aren't your shopping ads. So this is where it gets a little bit difficult because there is no way for you to find out where they're coming from. If we go click on the asset groups, you will see, okay, we've got some assets here, but there's no way of finding out or revealing actually what's going on. We don't even know if these assets, the image ads, are actually delivering any sales. There is a workaround to this, and we'll go and have a look at it now quickly. You can run a script that I'll put a link to, and this script will reveal what's actually happening behind the scenes. It's a bit annoying because clearly Google is putting the information or making the information available in the API, but it's not making it easily available to. Okay, I've got an example of the script here. The result, it outputs the script into a spreadsheet and it reveals to us what our total costs are, the number of conversions, and the conversion value. And this enables us to see actually behind the scenes how a Performance Max campaign is working. And the most important area, as I said before, was the conv value. So we can see over here, here's the value of the conversions, 2.6, 2.44, 5.2. But over here, we can see that the shopping channel lost money on the first campaign. It was pretty good on the second campaign, 1 to 3, pretty weak again here, a 4.6. 4.6 is really where I'd say the bottom should be, but we can see, oddly, on display network it lost here, but on the search campaigns, they were actually quite good at 7.1. But it gives you more insight in how you should configure your PMax campaigns. Okay, let's return. Let's have a look at the asset groups now. So we briefly looked at the listing groups and they comprise our shopping products. You can have multiple ones of these. So the idea is an asset group can contain a listing group, and an asset group also contains a whole series of assets. Now these assets can be images, they can be titles for products. Depending on what the spreadsheets reveal to you, it would be my recommendation to decide whether or not you actually decide to put assets in here. So here it comprises assets of images, logos, videos, and classic search. And as you can see, Google provides you with previews of how these ads will work on each network. However, it's my argument that you may not always want to create the assets, depending on your situation. So looking at the assets, there's an area called signals. Now, signals provide you with additional keywords. So we can add keywords here to aid and provide hints to Google about the types of products or customers you should be aiming at. So for example, if we were retailing stone pebbles, beach pebbles for gardens, we need to put in there that things like gravel, gardens, large stones, and what are the type of keywords we want to focus on. Because it's very easy if you do a quick search to find out there's also a range of pebble watches. So we don't have the ability to add negative search terms in here, but what we can do is we can assist Google by adding in keywords that are type of help Google point it in the right direction. It's the same thing with your audience signals. I'd recommend you upload customer lists, choose affinity audiences, in-market audiences that are very much aligned with this line of products that we're retailing. Google, if you go on to Insights, Google will provide us with a list of search categories that your products are actually appearing under. And what you should do is you should check that you're actually turning up in the correct search categories. If you see unusual search terms in here that are nothing to do with you, then you may have to add in additional search signals or adjust the product titles in your merchant center to help. When I talked about audiences, we can see here that Google is already using certain audiences, and I would go through and look at these. So these ones here, even though they're blurred out for you, look pretty good. But the bottom two are to do with vehicles and car parts and accessories. With this particular account, they are not in the vehicle or car parts market. So we've got a slight inkling here that Google may be showing these to the wrong market. Additionally, Google will reveal to you who are the top advertisers you're competing against. And you can see here, we got eBay, there's you, there's Amazon, But if you start to see advertisers in there nothing to do with your market, then that's where you're going to need to be very, very careful with your search signals. The Auction Insights tab will give you a more detailed overview of who you're competing against. It will list down here the display domains. It will show you the impression share of the market that you're capturing. This will give you some indication of whether you need to increase your budgets. You can see how much you are overlapping with competitors. You can see whether they are above or below you. You are type of classified as the baseline position, so we can see that these stores here, the 4 ones here, including Amazon, they have a position above us on the page for the majority of the time, and eBay and these other 2 competitors down here are actually below us. We can see that we are at the top of the page 65% of the time, and you can look to see how your competitors are going here. There's also a column for the absolute top of the page. So how often are you absolutely at the top of the page? And we can see here that we're absolutely at the top of the page 33% of the time, and there's only really one other competitor who's at the top of the page above us. However, you'll notice that their impression share is below 10%. So that would indicate that they're coming in, bidding very highly, and then burning out of money. But when they do show, they're at the top of the page most of the time. It also shows you the percentage of times that you're outranked. Returning to assets, just because Google says you should add assets into your PMax campaign doesn't necessarily mean you should. Because effectively, if you don't add in any text, you don't put in any videos and any imagery, but you can provide search signals, but you have a listing group within your asset. So your asset is type of your filing cabinet drawer or your filing cabinet, and then within that we have our listing groups or our shopping ads. So what you can do is create a blank a blank asset group, put the signals in for the keywords we're looking for, the interests and demographics we're after, and then just create the listing group. I think looking at this screen here, we can see that there's been some modifications. It looks like originally, because we've got sales coming in on all products, rather everything else in all products. However, these are now excluded. So I think what's happened originally here, all the products are running and pulling into here and probably cross-competing with other products in other campaigns. And then this has been modified at some point so that we've got a select set of top converting products, and then everything else that would show up in here normally has been excluded. So probably if I was to look in the late summer on this one, it probably did perform a little better. I would also check assets. Assets are site links, call out extensions, and your business name. So what you've got here is we do have site link extensions. We've got them at account level, we've got call outs, and we've got business name here. So in this section here, I would just check that you've got them in here, but you know, this looks pretty solid here. The other thing I would do is if we nip back over here and enable all campaigns and then go over the products, it will present us with a screen and we're looking for a column called Active In. If not, just click on columns and add it in under, I think it'll be in a product attributes, and it is Active In. Just add it in here. Looking at this product here, we can see it's active in 3 campaigns, which could be slightly problematic. So we'll just jump in and have a look at that. So we've jumped into the product here and we're looking at it, and what we find out, this product is actually in 2 campaigns. We've got a shopping campaign that has been running against a desktops only, and then we've got a shopping campaign that has been running against mobiles only. So these 2 here that have collected clicks in here, they aren't actually competing with each other. Just be careful that you haven't got performance max campaigns that have products that are competing against each other, as that can dramatically push up the price as you compete within your own campaign before you actually get to compete against any advertisers. Finally, I would go over to reports and I would create a low performing products report. So I would add in the column conversion value and I would then filter it by the cost high to low. So we can see here we've got a product and it's cost us 168 pounds or dollars, and it's only had a conversion value of 56. So we only got 12% of the product value back against our advertising cost. Here on this product here, over quite a long period of time, we spent 53 and we've got no return. We spent 51, 37, 35. So what I would do is a final check of your Performance Max campaigns. I would go through and actually find out which products are we bidding on that actually aren't converting. This is one here why it's cost us £27 to get a conversion and we only got 25.14 back, so we got less than our We've got another one here that had a sale, but we've got less back on it, 26, 25. So there's quite a few products here that have cost us a reasonable amount of money that actually haven't resulted in the generation of any conversions. Now, it may be that you might have to go back, look at the product title, find out what's in there, make sure it is got the right keywords in there, it's descriptive, it hasn't got anything else in there that could accidentally generate traffic to your site that won't convert. So look, this is probably the final thing I do on a Performance Max campaign. Just go through and find out what products are converting, which ones aren't converting, and look out for any that have quite a high cost and very little or no conversions at all. So I hope that's been useful in some way to you and it's given you a bit more insight into Performance Max campaigns. If you ever want any assistance or you'd like to jump on a discovery call with us, we're always available. Just go and visit the Click Convert Marketing website, clickconvertmarketing.com, and we'll jump on, schedule a meeting with you, and we'll go through and conduct the same type of investigation we've done here and hopefully point you in the right direction. So until next time, bye.